President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad announced that the country's heavy water reactor in Iraq is up and running now. So, Mr. Furukawa, what kind of meaning does this have in terms of nuclear technology development?
Well, so far the international concern has focused primarily upon Iran's uranium enrichment program. The heavy water reactor project is a different type of nuclear program, which is aimed at producing plutonium. Iran has been constructing a 40-megawatt heavy water research reactor at Iraq, which is slated to complete in 2014, according to Iran. The newly announced heavy water production facility is slated to feed this future nuclear reactor. When the heavy water reactor in Iraq may begin operation at the full capacity, and if Iran may develop a reprocessing capability successfully, this reactor is theoretically capable of producing around 14 kilograms of weapons-grade plutonium annually, probably enough for one or two nuclear weapons. The reactor project raises proliferation concerns because the reactor seems too large for its stated purpose. Iran has claimed that the 40-megawatt heavy water reactor is necessary to produce isotopes for medical and industrial purposes. However, Iran already has a 10-megawatt light water research reactor, but it is significantly underutilized, which makes Iran's claim for 40-megawatt reactor dubious. Because of concern about the potential misuse of this reactor, the IAEA Board of Governors called on Iran to halt construction of the Iraq reactor in February this year. But Iran has been steadily continuing its construction, ignoring this IAEA resolution.
Now, Mr. Iran is asserting that their nuclear development is for peaceful purposes. The countries such as the United States and Britain suspect that the country is producing nuclear weapons along with building nuclear plants. Now, Mr. Furukawa, what are their bases for the accusation?
Well, as far as we have known through public records as well as official records, there doesn't seem to be any single intelligence information that elegantly points out to the existence of Iran's weapons program. But and it has been pointed out that there is a great deal about Iran that Western intelligence doesn't know. But there are many pieces of evidences that are coming up, and these pieces seem to add up to a strong indictment in totality. In November 2003, the IAEA Director General Mohammed El-Baradei reported that there is no evidence that Iran's previously undeclared materials and activities were related to a nuclear weapons program. However, Mr. El-Baradei has not repeated this statement henceforth. And instead, rather recent IAEA reports have been explicitly referred to the possible nuclear weapons connections in Iran's nuclear program. And in fact, in this spring, Mr. Christopher Charlier, then chief IAEA inspector on Iran, reportedly came to a conclusion that the purpose of Iran's nuclear program might be to construct weapons, although such views were not reflected in the official IAEA documents. Today, various indicators of possible military involvement in Iran's nuclear program have come to light. For example, first, the IAEA has discovered documentation in Iran for casting and machining enriched uranium hemispheres, which are directly relevant to the production of nuclear weapons components. Second, the IAEA also discovered evidence in September 2003 that Iran had covertly produced a radioactive element called as polonium-210, which has only two known uses, a neutron source for a nuclear weapon or for satellite batteries. In the absence of any such satellite program in Iran, IAEA found Iran's explanation difficult to believe and expressed skepticism toward Iran explicitly in its previous reports. And also, the IAEA is also pursuing information on nuclear-related high explosive tests and the design of a deliberate system to carry a nuclear warhead, both of which could point to a military rather than peaceful purpose of the Iranian nuclear program. Finally, the military-related administrative linkages among several aspects of the nuclear program as seen as compelling evidence of a military connection. These examples include the possible military involvement in the administration of uranium mine mill, or Iran centrifuge workshops, or physics research center at Labizan. Indeed, on January 31st this year, the IAEA Deputy Director General for Safeguards briefed IAEA members that Iran's Green Salt project, another undeclared nuclear activity, could also have a military dimension. For one military group to be involved in so many different aspects of the nuclear and the missile programs makes it unlikely that this was an uncoordinated effort on the part of some ambitious individual. Probably this kind of assessment may be behind the Western intelligence assessment that Iran's nuclear program has a military dimension.
Now, Iran announced that it has activated its heavy water reactor and will not halt enriching uranium. Mr. Furukawa, what is the next step for Iran?
Well, it seems reasonably safe to conclude that Iran is steadily passing a path to develop capability for a complete nuclear fuel cycle at the minimum. Iran may soon improve the quality of the centrifuge production and develop enough technical knowledge to enable sustained operation of uranium enrichment for extended period of time. Simultaneously, as noted previously, Iran may also steadily develop capability for plutonium production. It is possible that Iran may take its time, slowly build up a large-scale enrichment capability, and only later decide to go for breakout when it is able to go nuclear promptly. It can be argued that Iran seems to be seeking a nuclear weapons capability that can be quickly put into place when it makes a final decision. Other than that, we do not know precisely about Iran's intention or the exact status of its entire nuclear programs. While the Western intelligence community seems to be confident that Iran is most likely pursuing nuclear weapons, it should be acknowledged once again that their intelligence capability is limited regarding Iran, given the relatively scarce human assets available in Iran. The U.S. congressional report recently has cautioned that there is a possibility that Iran could be engaged in a denial and deception campaign to exaggerate progress on its nuclear program, as was the case of Saddam Hussein in Iraq previously. Or, on the other hand, there is also a risk that the U.S. Intelligence Committee may be seriously underestimating Iran's progress in nuclear programs. The political leaders of the concerned countries need more definitive intelligence to judge the precise status of the Iranian nuclear program.
Mr. Furukawa, if Iran aimed to possess nuclear weapons, what kind of political problems would arise in the security situation in the Middle East, including Israel?
Well, there was some speculation that Israel may possibly conduct a preemptive attack on Iran's nuclear facility. But given Israel's unsuccessful military operation in Lebanon recently, the probability of Israel to attack Iran seems remote, at least at this point of time. But rather, Iran's nuclear programs should be viewed probably as having serious trouble over a long period of time, as Dr. Tanaka has just mentioned. In addition to the possible possible arms race in the Middle East, if Iran may acquire nuclear weapons, although the probability that Iran might actually attempt to use such a nuclear weapon may be low, but the inexperienced and dogmatic views of Iranian President Ahmadinejad and his fellows could possibly increase the dangers of miscalculation, thus leading to the actual use of nuclear weapons. Also, there is a possibility that the nuclear materials, equipment, or know-how could be diverted to other proliferators or terrorists, and such possibility could increase. Certainly, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei stated that Iran is prepared to transfer the experience, knowledge, and technology of its nuclear scientists. And also, on the other hand, there is also a great danger of a transfer without explicit state involvement, as was the case of Dr. A.Q. Khan in Pakistan. There will be also a problem in the regional balance of power, which might possibly shift to antagonistic autocratic regimes, since nuclear option could give Iran the means to threaten and blackmail its neighbors. By enhancing the prestige of the mullahs who presided over the nuclear development, nuclear-armed Iran might be emboldened to increase support for possibly terrorist organizations or to replace internal demands for democratic reform. Finally, a nuclear-armed Iran would be also emboldened to threaten to disrupt the smooth flow of the world oil by threatening to block the Straits of Hormuz, which may gravely affect the world oil supply. So under nuclear-armed Iran, we would have to face new uncertainties in the future.
Thank you very much, Mr. Furukawa. Thank you, Mr. Tanaka.
That was Yuko Fukushima interviewing Mr. Koichiro Tanaka, senior analyst at the Institute of Energy Economics, Japan, and Mr. Katsuhisa Furukawa, senior fellow at the Research Institute of Science and Technology for Society, Japan Science and Technology Agency. We heard about their views on the background and influence of Iran's rejection to the Western incentives to halt uranium enrichment.